All right, welcome all to Minority Gaming, and we got some special guests. We got Bowden, Dante, and Joe coming through, and we're just gonna talk about sports.
And I'm still Rudy, so yeah.
Rudy and Larry. I didn't introduce myself. I figured we don't need to because it says our names like on the channel, but whatever.
Public.
What do you got? Let's see. Agenda. Fantasy sports. Have you guys actually? I don't even know. Have you guys played fantasy sports? Dante, I know you have.
No, say Larry. I've played fantasy sports with you.
I know. That's why I'm just saying. Like, I don't know if the rest of you guys play. So, no, Bowden.
I have no experience with
that. I've never done baseball. Seems a little intense.
Wait, you've done fantasy baseball?
Yeah, like rotisserie.
That is very intense.
That's the hardest one because that's like an everyday thing.
Yeah.
I mean, like I've never done it, but it seems like a fantasy headache. Like I've done fantasy football, and it's a grind for me. After about 6 weeks, I'm like, wow, I don't actually care who the third string running back on the Buffalo Bills is, But
hey, there will be no on this.
It's funny that you say that.
Okay.
Joe's our resident Bills fan, right?
Oh yeah. Okay, well, the Dolphins then, you know what I mean? Like I find I know far too much about the NFL, and I spend every Sunday in like dark, dingy bars, like weirdly rooting for like this wide receiver to score, but like but hoping that the running back throws in the pass because I'm playing against the other team's the same team's quarterback. Like it warped my appreciation of football for sure.
Right.
I remember the Bills had like a 3-headed beast at one point, which is terrible for fantasy. But then they had like Marshawn Lynch, and they had CJ
Fuller and Fred Jackson back in the day.
Jackson. I was like, dude, these guys are all legit. Because when they went to their own teams, they were all starting running backs. And I was like, and Bills had all of them. I was like, oh, man.
When we traded Marshawn, that hurt so bad. I hated it so much.
Mistakes were made. Mistakes were made.
Like I know he hated it there, but yeah.
Well, yeah. You see what's happening in Buffalo, man.
Oh yeah, no shit. I mean,
yeah. So he's probably like, get me out of here as fast as possible. Like
all the writing on the wall. Right?
Yeah. He was like, how do I get out of here? I went to Buffalo one time because I was like doing summer camp in like New York for a few months, and then I road tripped up to Toronto and like see Niagara Falls and all that stuff. And then when I drove to Buffalo, I went downtown, and it was like probably like noon, and it was a ghost town. And I was like, oh, and I was like checking what day it was. It was Saturday at noon, and this place was a ghost town. I was like, what is going on? And then I looked on the map. I was like, yeah, we're downtown. It's Saturday. It's noon. Where the hell are all the people?
I've never been there. It's like obviously on my bucket list to go to a game, but obviously not as appealing to go there these days. What they got going on.
I wouldn't recommend it. You can check it out, but yeah. I would not recommend going to Buffalo. Hey, if you're from Buffalo and you're watching this, you know what I'm talking about.
Fuck yourself.
No.
Right?
So
we don't want your
Buffalo and you're watching this. Like
asshole.
we gonna get like 50 views.
The anti-Buffalo fucking podcast, man.
Yeah. I've been beefing with a lot of Bills fans over the last week. You can guess why.
Fuck the Bills.
Yeah, exactly.
Sabres,
all
fuck all the Buffalo sports teams.
Dude.
Nah. So fantasy-wise, my experience has been the most fun part of fantasy is the freaking draft, and it's all downhill from there. I've never won a freaking league.
This is true.
But the draft is like worth it because it's so much fun and there's so much shit talk.
Wait, you do yours live?
Yeah, so we do live and we do auction. So both the leagues I'm in are auction now, which I had never done auction, and like once you've done auction, like that's the only way you ever want to draft ever again. It was like kind of intimidating to start with, but it's so much fun.
Yeah, you see people throwing away their money. They're like, "What are you doing, man? You got I love playing with people who have no concept of like money or numbers because they're just like they have a $200 budget and they blow like 3/4 of it on
$88 on one player. Yeah, it's infuriating.
Like $100. Like we just started. You only have 2. Okay.
Have you guys done auction before?
I have.
So like the cool thing about it, if you haven't done it, is like when it's your turn in the draft. So like let's say it's like a normal draft and you're like first. What you do is you nominate a player, right? And like so, let's say I went first in NBA. I would nominate like Giannis for like $36 and just people out bid from there. And so you got to decide how much you're willing to pay for a certain player.
Yeah. You have to decide. Like I know I'm not going to get these like X guys, but I want them to bid up. It's like I want to run that. It's a strange balance.
It's
right?
crazy.
Pumping it up is so funny. You're like, this guy is like thirsty for LeBron James or something, and I'm just like, I think I can go like an extra $10 and he'll still outbid me. So I just boom, and then you watch someone blow all their money, and then you just win.
Yeah, but like I said, man, like past the draft, like I freaking suck. I'm like so before the NBA got suspended, there was 1 week left in the NBA fantasy league, in my league at least, and I was like 4 points out of like the 8th spot, and just like, and now I'm just screwed.
Yeah, you're done.
I hate
it. You're like the Pelicans.
Pretty much. People.
It's absurd. It's absurd. Too many people. It's a 16-team league.
Okay.
It's awful.
So you were on the cusp of getting in the playoffs.
Exactly.
That's a huge league. So
it's massive.
Wow. You're really like bottom barrel hunting, and you're just like whoever I can get.
It's a lot of like, do I really want like Trevor Ariza? Like that kind of shit. It's bad.
Who's the 6th man on the Charlotte Hornets? Tell us now. You know what I mean?
Exactly. Rough.
Speaking of basketball, like since that's next on our agenda, what do you guys think about like the 22 team like playoff? Is that fair for like the bottom 8 people?
Why don't you give me the framework? Because I've heard this coming back, but I got distracted by the national fucking uprising that we had these past 2 weeks. So break it down for us.
I'm not outdoors. What's going on?
Yeah, I've been definitely bouncing back and forth between like, trying to do this because we have time, and I can only like dedicate so much of my time to all these different things I'm involved with. But yeah, so the uprising stuff and the protests dominated a lot of my like social feeds and stuff like that for good reason. Like,
but Larry, tell us about basketball. What are they doing?
So basketball, on the other hand, is another one of the things I've been looking at because I'm just waiting for the season to restart. They played around with like a few different ideas, and I think this one is the most fair. I think because then they were talking about have like a play-in for the playoffs, and then eliminating like the bottom teams that have no chance. But what they're doing instead is they're eliminating the bottom 8 teams anyways, and then they're having like 8 regular season games, and then that way the teams that are like 4 games away or less have a chance to actually make it into the playoffs. Because if you just run the table and you win all your 8 games and you're like a 7, 8, 9 seed, you're probably in, right? So I think there's some teams that are capable, like the Pelicans. With Zion back, they're
second Pelican reference today. So.
Dude is doing what he was doing in college in the NBA.
Yeah.
Just walking through guys. Have you guys seen him? He just
walked
through like 250-pound men like they're nothing, like they're boys, and he just lays the ball up or dunks it in their face. I'm just like, please make the playoffs. I'm like, please make the playoffs.
Well, if they get around against him and John Morant, right? Because he's,
Oh man, I want to see him both.
By right, because he's been there, right? But if he could upstage him, that'd be pretty interesting. Like, oh, here's our rookie of the year, but here's the guy who's just got back, but he's clearly, not clearly, but when people might argue he's like the better guy, but he doesn't have the body of work to show for his rookie season, right? But upstage him in the playoffs, that'd be like a kind of like a huge asterisk on the rookie of the year if John Morant gets it, right? Like he's rookie of the year, but Zion owned him in the playoffs, you know?
Oh, that would be interesting. But there's no way because they would be like 7th and 8th seed, so they're gonna run through LeBron and Kawhi. Yeah, right. But that would be some good drama, though.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I wonder if those teams are scheduled to play each other. Like, what if it's the one because isn't Memphis? Aren't they in like near the bottom too?
Now, I think.
Yeah, but they won't.
If they have a game, maybe that'll be like a deciding game whether who's in the playoffs.
Oh, I see. Yeah.
Yeah, I wonder what they did with the schedule because I remember before the season stopped, talked about Memphis having like the hardest remaining strength of schedule the rest of the way, and New Orleans having like one of the easiest ones. So that's why they were thinking like they might be able to jump them in the playoffs.
Well,
but because all the teams aren't in now, like I wonder what that schedule looks like. I don't know.
Right, that's a good point.
Yeah, because then those teams that had a super easy schedule, that's gone because it's all like playoff contenders, huh?
Yeah. You're essentially just playing only against playoff contenders.
Are they doing it all in Disney World? Is that their plan still?
Yeah.
All games with no fans.
Do they get to bring their families to Disney World? Like, is this like the best time for the children of NBA players because they get to go to Disney World, like with no fucking lines? You know.
I still don't think the parks are. Oh, maybe the parks are operating. It's in Florida. Florida's open.
I mean, if you're gonna have the NBA there, right? Like they deserve to go on rides. You know.
Right.
Better than doing.
How are they gonna get the workers to agree on that?
Right.
Well, I think the whole thing is they're gonna be in a bubble, right? Like that's like them being there. So I don't think they're gonna be like in places where other folks in public can be.
Right.
Like a really weird thing to think about. Like if your family members, like, do you want to lock down in freaking Orlando for 12 weeks?
Yeah, so they'll probably open up like restaurants and things. They'll probably have like maybe some of the arcades open or something like that, and then because the family's got to do something while they're there. I know Adam Silver was like really negotiating on like how to make the experience like family friendly for the NBA players, so they could bring their families over and it's not like they're locked up in like a hotel room or something like that. So I think they're opening up enough things that to encourage the NBA players to like go. I don't know the details, but I haven't read anything about them like talking about like what kind of accommodations they're gonna have or anything like that. So yeah, I don't know. But I think so I looked up the date. It's coming July 31st. But soccer's coming up before that, right? Soccer's next week.
It is. Soccer comes back. Well, I really watch the English league. So that comes back a week from Wednesday.
Soccer, we're not talking MLS. We're talking about like everything else, right?
No. The MLS is, look, I encourage you to go watch MLS games live because they're fun to watch. Like,
I've been to Earthquake.
But don't ever fucking watch that shit on TV. All right, it's not. I'm not gonna say it's low quality because they're good players because they're professionals, right? But like,
I'm gonna say it's low quality.
Okay, fine. You can say that. I don't want to disrespect the players and their craft. But yeah, all right. You can say that. You can say that.
Dude, I've seen it, and it's like a lot of like kick the ball over the top or just like lose possession over and over. And I'm like thinking because there's like this girls soccer team, Lowell, and they have like all these girls that end up going to play college soccer. Like
Lowell High School.
Yeah, the girls.
Talking about
anyway,
MLS is crap, but Lowell High School girls. They're fucking,
when they play,
that's the model like, that we're all really looking at. The
they're really organized. Hey, I'm talking.
Francisco.
They're solid. I watched them. They don't turn the ball over. They attack well. I was like, wow, dude. I've seen it. I was like, wow.
Well, by extension, the U.S. women's team. That's they're winners. Straight up. So.
Well, I mean, they're a good second to Lowell High School, I'd say. You know what I mean? like yeah, there's like the women's national team, and they get a lot of press. But really, in soccer circles, everyone's looking like, how is the Lowell High School girl team taking apart the other high school teams, which has like a significant percentage of girls who like don't really play soccer, just started out their freshman year, and now they're 3 years in.
Oh, obviously, I'm not a big soccer fan. Like, I watch, but I'm like fair weather. They look organized, man. They weren't turning the ball over. were
They're
scoring.
good. I also have watched the Lowell girl. I mean, what soccer aficionado hasn't watched the Lowell girls team,
You're
really?
not a Lowell High School girls
But
soccer fan. I
I
question
have
you on
watched
your
them.
fandom
Yeah, they're
in the
good. They
first
play
place.
nice stuff. They pass the
They're
ball.
like the high school powerhouse that won like 50 years of girls soccer high school championships going like except
Then again, that's in our local sports league. I mean, right? I'm sure like
Yeah, the soccer powerhouse that is SFUSD's high school league. You know what I mean?
hey, didn't
Draws
Dante,
the eyes of the nation every winter.
you follow our school soccer, right? Didn't
I
we
coach
just
our school soccer, Larry.
we should do
no,
our
our
homework.
girls
Well, yeah,
soccer
you could
team.
say that I follow them.
Homework
I
sometime.
go to all the games.
Wait, how did our girls soccer team do at the high school level?
I think they were good this season.
Yeah, they went to the championship, but
Yeah.
they lost to
They
Lowell.
faced Lowell. Was the-
Yeah, they lost to Lowell.
Yeah,
But to be fair, it went to overtime and they lost by 1. To be
Oh,
fair.
that's pretty
That's-
good. You had a
that's
chance.
good. Usually, yeah.
All right. Let's not talk about soccer anymore. I'm over it.
Right. I mean, we've like
How about we talk
we've
about
hit the
soccer, but not
pinnacle. What
local
else
high
is there to
school
talk
girls
about?
I mean, yeah.
Yeah, I took it
Oh,
there.
girls
That's my
team.
fault. I'll take the blame on that. It's definitely my fault. I took it there. All right. What about baseball? Are they canceling their season?
So no soccer talk, right?
Yeah, none of this bullshit.
We just lost like a bunch of subscribers. We went from 10 subscribers to 5 subscribers.
What are you talking about? Like, we may have just added the entire Lowell girls soccer team, right? That's like
Yeah.
you just
Let's
multiplied your
go!
subscribers by 2.5. Like,
Now Larry's back on board. Like we can talk this if you want to talk about Lowell girls.
yeah,
Soccer.
exactly. I think you should change your focus and just like the Lowell girls soccer team podcast. Like,
And I think it's worth mentioning. Larry went to Lowell, and and he's
did
clearly
he?
a girl and was on the
Oh,
soccer
yeah.
team. That's why he's so passionate.
Interesting.
I honestly never watched a soccer
little
game ever.
Bill Simmons
Like,
homerism style
high
shit, right?
Right?
I actually like Washington a lot more, and I would never teach at Lowell. Like, and I know I went there and I'm alum, but still, like, Washington's like my idea of like what high school should be like, kind of like what I imagine like normal high schoolers should be, with like sports. Everyone has their fun times, but like, yeah, Lowell's like a magnet school, and people have to apply to get in. It's like it's not a school that a normal kid who wants like a fun high school life would probably choose to go to or something like that. So
Yeah, it's tough on the Lowell girls soccer players who like go there and they burn out. You know what I mean? Because it's like being a tennis player, right? You just go in there and like sure you're there for academics, but it's full-time soccer academy, right? It's like the McDonald's All-Americans or AAU teams. It's just a pro development league.
all right, are you gonna let me slide on this one, Dante?
It's still funny, Larry. Like that's the problem. Is that I might call it back a few more times, but all right, I'll let it go for the time being.
Okay. Yeah. All right. Thanks, man. But honestly, I'm very happy. There's like been talks of sports coming back. Like I've heard zero in the news about MLB, other than the money issue.
So yeah, they can't get along, right? The players in the league. All I've heard is it was going to be like a super tricky situation to begin with. I think the players want more games so they get paid. And
They want more games of baseball?
yeah.
There's already too many.
I agree.
Baseball's a mess.
No, but what's your number one sport, Joe? You're a baseball fan, right?
I'm a baseball fan. That's not my number one sport. I think basketball is. I mean, I'm a Bills fan more than anything else. Like I've been a Bills fan like pretty much since like third grade. So
You're not from Buffalo?
Nah, I just picked them.
Tell us your Bills origin story.
So there was this French kid in my third grade class who was a Dallas Cowboys fan.
Okay.
And we all had name tags on our desk.
Uh-huh.
And I guess the Super Bowl that year was the last time the Bills won a Super Bowl. So we're talking like 93, 94. And he drew the logos for the Cowboys and the Bills on his name tag. and I saw the Bills logo, and I'd also just finished like a unit on like U.S. flags, so I was all about like red, white, and blue. I'd also read about Buffalo Soldiers. I saw the logo, and I was like, okay, I'm in. And I've been miserable ever since, up until like a couple years ago.
Yeah, that's what sports are about, right? Like one run rush of adrenaline, then just misery for the rest of your life.
And the Bills had a huge run of just losing consecutive Super Bowls. I mean,
Yeah,
Chip Kelly,
even before '93,
man, he was amazing.
so like I had missed out on all the Super Bowl stuff. Like I caught it at the tail end, didn't see any of that. I was too young.
But in that sense, you're lucky though.
I guess.
I don't know.
It's a lot of like living that 6 and 10 life. Like the happiest I ever was like Doug Flutie, and then they benched him for Rob Johnson. I mean, like it's been rough. Dude. Like, I can't go through the murderers of crappy quarterbacks we've had over the years. And then for us to get in the playoffs finally with Tyrod Taylor, because of Andy Dalton's last. Oh my God! When Andy Dalton threw that pass to I forget the receiver, but it put the Bills in the playoffs because they beat the Ravens on the last second play, and we broke the drought. Like that was 3 years ago. Happiest moment.
Yeah, Bills have had it pretty rough. They ran into the powerhouse called the 49ers. Hey!
It's not the Patriots, but yeah.
Yeah, the Niners dominated the 80s.
No, it's the Giants because the Bills are AFC, right? So
I say, how about the Patriots? Haven't the Patriots been a problematic fixture for the Buffalo Bills for
It's been rough.
Yeah.
It's been rough.
The 90s
so.
Brady's owned them.
garbage in the early '90s.
Yeah,
They
I mean,
haven't been
really
competitive.
for the division this year. We'll see.
Really?
Hey,
Yeah.
you know what? I'm rooting for you.
Thanks.
I can get on board with rooting.
Let's go Bills.
Periodically.
All that shit I said about Buffalo earlier, I take it all back.
Oh man.
Actually, I'm not sure about that, but I take it back what I said about the Bills. You know.
Yeah.
You could be the one guy in downtown Buffalo on Saturday at noon holding up a sign that says "Go Buffalo Bills." Like that could be you.
Yeah.
And then that. There you go, new Buffalo Bills fan. It was all worth it, Joe.
Yeah, you got
all worth it coming on. You just recruited another. All two of you, right?
I'd say we're all Bills fans now, right? Like at least.
Are we? Are we? Okay, it is an AFC team. Maybe Bills can be my AFC team.
There you go.
When the Niners are not in the Super Bowl, but they have been, and they've been competing. But when they're not, I'm going to follow the Bills.
You know what I mean? 49ers. Woof. Quite a run of getting the Super Bowl, losing like a bunch of fucking losers because they're losers. You know what I mean? Fuck the 49ers.
Oh, wow.
Wait, what team do you follow for football, man?
I am a Green Bay Packers fan.
Oh, that makes sense.
Oh, that makes a
Forgot
lot
about that.
of sense.
Forgot about that.
Oh, man.
Hey, how do you feel about Aaron Rodgers, like, possibly getting kicked to the curb? And when you went 13-3, okay, so Green Bay last year, if you guys don't know, went
Because we drafted
13-3,
a quarterback?
and they drafted for the first round a quarterback when they could have just got a receiver and improved upon their current team. And 13-3 is ridiculous. That was the same record as the Niners, and they went to the
Well, yeah, but as someone who actually watched the Packers throughout the season, like we lucked into that record. We were not the better team. We kind of like won a lot of games by like hook or by crook, which was I mean, nice because I feel like the past couple seasons we were losing games by hook or by crook. Honestly, I can't say I like pay that much close attention, but yeah, my friend who's like a really hardcore Packers fan was like pissed about our draft. I think Aaron Rodgers is still gonna be the guy for a couple more years. I think they're trying to do the succession plan the way they did with Rodgers and Favre.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, what was the last time they drafted a quarterback? How'd that work? That was pretty.
That went well, right?
That did go pretty well.
Favre thing.
That did get us one Super Bowl. I want to see
behind one of the greatest, so.
Yeah, so I kind of don't think it's gonna work out that way again. You know what I mean?
Well, I hope not, but yeah.
Well, hopefully we'll have like an Alex Smith level quarterback. Speaking of Aaron Rodgers, right? We'll have an Alex Smith level quarterback to like fall back on and have a team with. I don't know, man.
Hey, so what's your story about being a Green Bay fan? Because, like, I'm pretty sure Rudy, me, and Bowden, we all grew up Niners fans or
Yeah.
whatever. But
Well,
how'd you become a Green Bay fan?
well, my parents are both from Wisconsin, so I would go watch the Packers play with my dad. Like, we, yeah, we would have to go to like this pizza place because we didn't have a like whatever. We didn't even have an antenna, so we couldn't watch the games at home. So I would go to this pizza place by our house and like eat pizza and watch the Packers with my dad. And it was also like when like I got started getting into it when both the Niners and the Packers were good.
Yeah.
So that not only instilled like Packers fandom, but also like a deep seated hatred for the 49ers, right? Because like, what else do you and your friends talk about in third and fourth grade, right? So it was just like taking like year after year, whoever like shitting on your friends for like beating them in the playoffs, or like I don't know, parroting what your parents said about how like the refs made a bad call or some shit. Not like you like really knew, you know? You're like, it was pass interference, and they're like, no, it wasn't. That's what we talked about in fourth grade. So that's why I'm a Packers fan. And that's also why I hate the 49ers. I'm sorry. I can't. Even though they do like good progressive things, they have that first female coach, I'm still just like, but at the end of the day, they're rotten to the core, those monsters.
Wow.
I hate them. That's what sports are for, right?
Yeah.
Irrational hatred. Yeah.
Yeah, I say to bring out the worst in people and our worst impulses. I absolutely agree.
It's the arena for it, really, right? Like,
Well, but this is a more healthy way of releasing those, like, crazy pent up emotions.
yeah.
You know, I think sports is like the healthier way of going through like all your anger and frustration. I always go and play basketball all the freaking time. Like when I'm like having a bad day or like the week is rough, I'm just like, I need to go out and ball. I'll take
Yeah.
it out on some people on the court. He's just
I'm
hacking me. Why is he just shoving me? You know? It's like,
yeah.
I'm just playing the game, man. I'm just playing the game.
Yeah, but the worst side of my personality comes out when I'm playing soccer. Absolutely, like all the bad things.
Worse than how you normally are?
Exactly, Larry. Exactly.
Shots are fired.
It's just I'm pure evil on the soccer field. Like out here, I'm just normal evil. Just standard levels of evil.
You know, it would be a funny episode for us if you record yourself playing like rec soccer, and then me and Rudy just comment on you, just slide tackling, spikes up, like
Yeah.
just, like shoving people out of bounds, and we would just that would be a good episode for us. Like,
All right, look, I'll talk to my cinematography team. You know what I mean?
Or you get me and Larry out on the pitch, and we'll just be like.
I just want to say goal for like 30 seconds. That's all I want to do.
It's possible. You can go to the soccer fields and live that dream, Larry. You know what I mean?
All right, I'll try it out next time. I'll go to a local park when people are playing soccer and just scream it from far away.
That'd be funny.
What else is there? Do you guys care about like football coming back? No one's really talked about football.
That's all we've been talking about.
Well,
it does seem like the NFL is just acting like this shit is not going on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I see people on Twitter like talking about like which Bills games they're gonna travel to, and I'm like, wait, what? like, what did I miss here? Like, seriously, everyone's it's literally business as normal. Like,
right.
All this stuff is just gone by the time September comes around. Like, I don't understand any of it, frankly.
Well, God will eliminate the virus so the NFL can happen, right?
That's true.
That's God's primary function in the modern world. Clearing the season for the NFL.
Well, God missed Easter, so maybe Allah will hit it up for Ramadan,
For sure.
Like all the sports talk about the NBA trying to like take social distance like social distancing clearly and like make it safe for the players and the fans and the family. And then NFL, they're just like, yeah, we're just gonna restart the season. Zero talk about like COVID and being safe and caring about the fans. They're just gonna be like, hey, bring it all in. It's gonna be like a NASCAR rally. We're just gonna pack the stadiums full of fans, and you guys are all gonna die. It's like we don't really care. It's like
Yeah,
Yeah,
they
there's
didn't
a lot
even
of
make the draft, did they? They kept the draft as scheduled. They just went with it.
I don't think they changed anything.
Yeah.
Did the NFL change anything?
They changed their stance on kneeling.
Oh,
Oh, that's true.
pro kneeling, just like the congressional Democrats, right?
I don't know what was better,
This
the
was
Kenny
ridiculous.
class or the kneeling.
I saw
I have to
that.
pick one.
yeah, it's a lot of talk of nothing from the NFL. You
Yeah,
know,
for
they
sure.
just. I think I saw some tweets and other things about like how like NFL is just gonna say all these things and do nothing. You know, it's like it costs like Goodell nothing to say this, but they're not gonna rehire Cap. They're not gonna like do anything towards social change. But
they have a lot in common with the congressional Democrats that way. You know what I mean? They're gonna talk a lot and not do shit.
yeah, they're gonna wrap like African scarves on and
Dude,
kneel.
that
in
shit
the
was
bar,
very fucking cringy.
and then
That shit
they're
was
not going to
very
pass
cringy.
any laws to help people. It's like, how about you pass some laws to help people?
Yeah, that was rough to see.
That was, yeah, I was like, what in the world is this? This is the dumbest
Yeah,
thing.
I had that out of my mind. So yeah, thanks.
Sorry.
Like
yeah.
that was a
We're
thing.
talking about the NFL still. We're talking about the NFL, right?
Don't go back to that. But seriously, like I don't understand how the league is just like pretending that between now, which is what June, 7th, 8th, and September, like we're just gonna be at a place where like everyone who has tickets to a game can just go. Like what is like how are they just not playing? Today's June 9th, right? Like COVID cases are like on the low, climbing through the roof again.
Oh yeah.
Like it's not gonna be a pretty summer. Like I
Yeah.
don't understand what the plan is at all.
Well, if it's like a normal flu, they say it's seasonal. So it's like it's going to happen at the beginning of the year and then it's going to happen in the fall. There's like 2 bouts of it. And the fall is exactly when NFL starts. So it's just naturally going to go up. And then if you're like jamming stadiums with people and it's like, yeah, all these people are going to catch it for sure. Like,
you think it'll become like a political issue the same way that like COVID did originally? Do you know what I mean?
I mean, undoubtedly, sure.
Yeah.
Wait, so I have not kept up on the news of how that's going to play out. Like, if they're acting like everything's normal, like, aren't soccer matches being played like to stadiums without fans, and like the basketball is going to be without fans? Are they planning? Did they make any plan like, oh, well, we'll do football but without fans? Or they? But
I've heard about that. Like they're doing like them not having people in the stands, but like they haven't communicated anything like that.
Yeah, they haven't said anything about it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, where'd you guys read that? On Reddit threads? On like the deep dark web? Like, dude, NFL is not talking about this stuff on mainstream. Like, you gotta be hunting for that kind of news. Like, I'm like just on regular like ESPN or whatever, like normal like sports sites. I'm hearing nothing from the NFL talking about the safety of the fans and stuff like that.
Right. Yeah, because MMA does it without fans, right?
Wrestling.
And the NASCAR and the wrestling, yeah. They're doing it without fans, and that seems like, if you want the matches to occur, then that seems to be the way to go. So they've not said anything like that, huh? Yeah. Besides on the dark web.
Yeah. But I think I feel the worst for baseball because baseball is like heavily dependent on like stadium revenue. Because when you have like 40,000 fans, like at least for like the Giants, and you're like packing it in every night with like record of like 2-3 million attendance like every year, and then that goes to zero, like that's a lot of money lost. And like I don't know how you make up for that, because they're saying not only this year are they gonna like be out, that possibly next year too, because the players might strike. So I'm like, is that the end of baseball? What do you think, Bowden? We haven't heard from you. You're like, I hate baseball.
I also hate
I
baseball.
honestly don't keep up with baseball. Like I the only team I probably keep up with is the Giants. I really like that's the only team I really watch.
Yeah,
like
they
you,
won't.
Gordon.
They won't be playing for the next 2 years.
I also only like baseball when the Giants are in the World Series, and then I develop a real strong interest for a short period of time. You know,
No, I mean,
and I buy like shirts like I've been a fan all year.
I love playoff baseball. Like that is, like there's not a whole lot in sports that's like the intensity of like a playoff baseball game. I love that stuff. But yeah, baseball is way too freaking long. Like they don't need that many games. Hopefully they learn from this. I think the last thing I heard was that they were thinking about doing like sequestering everyone in like grapefruit league places. So like a league in like Arizona and a league somewhere in Florida. Just having teams like do new divisions just like that and playing each other like 8 times in a row. And then like that, yeah, exactly. Like that would be their solution.
That's how much he hates baseball. He's like, dude, I'm over this.
Okay. Well, here's what I'd say about baseball is like the fact that it is like pretty much every day would be like pretty comforting as a fan. Cause like, all right, like in the soccer team I follow, Arsenal, right? When they lose a game, I'm like gonna be like pissy all week. Do you know what I mean? Like, or like I'm gonna like have to not think about soccer because I'm gonna be upset. Whereas baseball, I'm like, we lost today, we might win tomorrow. You know what I mean? The regularity of it seems like comforting.
Yeah, I mean, because it's a series. Every time you play a team, it's like what 2 to 4 games, right? And
Yeah, always a series.
like, oh, we lost the battle, but we could still win the war, right? You know, for at least for the first 2 losses, you know, possibly.
I just like for baseball, like trying to find like super cheap tickets and going out to the park because it's like an excuse to like enjoy a nice day. At least for day games, like night games, I'm like it's hella cold in San Francisco. Like I'm freezing my butt off. Like, unless I had like dinner plans, it's like, oh, let's go watch a game and grab dinner or something like that. I kind of don't want to go. Like, maybe like almost 90% of the time when I go, I get free tickets. So I'm like, of course I'm gonna go. Like, you give me tickets for free. Or if someone wants to go, like they're visiting during summertime and they're like, hey, is there anything to do? I was like, yeah, we can go watch a baseball game and like, oh, okay. I've never been to a baseball stadium or I've never like seen the Giants. I'm like, all right, let's go.
Yeah,
it's
and
like
sometimes they do events too.
Rudy, we talked about like going to different baseball stadiums and watching like baseball games, but now I think it would be better to just do it for basketball because basketball is one, it's more interesting to me, and two, it's like more progressive, so supporting a better cause. So yeah, kind of like the Lowe's and Home Depot kind of thing. I think honestly, they're both stores. But I'm gonna go to the more progressive one. Lowe's is the more progressive one, by the way.
Yeah.
Like Home Depot's the one sending millions of dollars to Trump, and
Yeah.
Lowe's is donating like 3 times as much to helping like African American communities and things like that.
Oh,
I think because their CEO
things.
he's black, right? So
changed my hardware buying habits forever. Thank you, Larry.
no,
I know that.
I was just going to Lowe's because that's the one closer to me, but I guess I'm doing the right thing by default.
Job,
so
now you have a second reason to go to Lowe's. When you're shopping online and you need some, like, I don't know, nails or screws or something. Or if you want to redo flooring, because I helped Rudy redo his floor, and that was
why I'll need to redo it. Okay.
No, it's good. If you
no, my floors are legit, dude. I'm not gonna be doing anything for my floors for a while.
You already have the skills to help you redo your wood flooring. So, now how long did that take to redo the wood flooring? 2 weeks.
You were here. Didn't it take us like a weekend or not?
I only went for 2 of the days, and we only did like half of the floors.
I think me and Damon did it. Yeah, there's probably 4 total days. I think.
There you go. Re-floor your crappy carpet apartment or condo into beautiful wood flooring 4 days.
Yeah, 3 or 4. I can't recall, but
we're trying to get advertisers, so Lowe's, like But
Free ads. The free ads.
do you want to sponsor us?
Sponsored
We
deal.
got 10 subscribers, and we're trending up.
Absolutely.
Trending up.
Started from the bottom, now we're here.
Oh, I was gonna say earlier about the baseball games. Like the most recent times I went to like a baseball game or a basketball game, like I always try to go when there's like an event going on, sort of, or like when there's like a free bobblehead or something like that. Yeah, and so like most recently, like a few months ago, I collect these things called Funko Pops, and like when I went there, they were giving out every ticket gets a free Funko Pop. I think it was a Bruce Lee Funko Pop. It was Bruce Lee night.
What is a Funko Pop?
Here, let me actually grab the Bruce Lee one that I got.
Absolutely, yeah.
Free
I
bobblehead
can
night.
show it to, wait,
Usher
I'll be
bobblehead.
right back.
Free bobblehead night. Perfect. Like I got one from the A's. A's are the best deal in the whole country. You can go for like $1 to an A's game. I got like a catfish hunter bobblehead. It was like something like you had to throw a strike into the mitt of the catcher or whatever, and it's like super small. Like I completely missed. I was like, dude, can you just give me a bobblehead and pretend like I made it? He was like, yeah. I was like, yeah.
Wait, what is this thing?
This is a
Oh,
Funko
one of
Pop.
the. Oh, those-
Yeah. And so when I went to the baseball game, they were literally giving each person with the ticket one of these.
Oh wow.
And it's Bruce Lee basically in like his kicking signature stance, but with the Giants uniform. And like I think the relationship between the connection between the Giants and Bruce Lee was, I think it was Bruce Lee's daughter or granddaughter is related to someone on the Giants, and they connected somehow and got this to happen. And so I went to one of the baseball games and they handed these out with the ticket, and they were like $20. I was like, sure, why not?
And he's a San Francisco guy. I mean, that's all the tie you need. He's from here, so.
Oh, see,
He
Really?
lives down here.
He
I
lived
did
in
not know that.
Huh?
I did not know
He lived
that.
in Oakland.
Yeah.
Wait, all right, so question for you guys. Like, what's your favorite, like, stadium experience or, like, place to go to watch any type of game, like, across all the sports?
That's a tough one. You gotta give us some thought.
Like, you mean like a very like
This
one
is
instance
not
or
on
like
the
a
agenda,
general,
man.
like a
So
general?
now we gotta think about
like
this
one individual instance.
Honestly,
Yeah, like, it could be. I mean, you can take it wherever you want. Like for me, like I can answer first. Like I would say, like being in like Oracle in like 2015, like when the Warriors were just like right when they were like starting to win, like when I could kind of afford to go, and before they won the first championship, like
Yeah.
I never it was my first actual NBA experience. I was the last game of the regular season, and they were down like 20 to like the Nuggets or something, and like came back and won.
nice.
But like hearing that place like be loud as it was, and like just the energy in there, like that, like I went to every game 5, I think up until the finals, and just hearing that place get loud and go crazy, like that was something that I don't think like I'll ever get like to see anything that like replicates that experience ever again.
Cool.
I would say the same. Warriors playoff game. I think I went each year. Like I think I got hooked up with like two of them for free, and then I paid for the other ones. But yeah, it was crazy how loud Oracle could get during the playoffs. Like you literally could not talk to the person next to you. Like your screaming was so loud, and you're just like trying to like, hey, you hear that, buddy? And it's like you see their mouths moving, but you cannot hear a single thing. And this is like, I think I don't know, but I was in the nosebleeds. Obviously, I'm cheap as hell, but like, I'm not trying to pay for first floor like $300 for those
It
tickets.
didn't matter though.
It was a good experience. I think no matter where you were, like I was in the upper deck, and I was like, this is insane. Yeah, you're right, Joe. I'm gonna say Warriors playoffs are pretty insane. I think I've been to like all the sports, but not during like playoff time. So I don't know. It's not really fair because playoff times in any sports so like fun to watch. So, but I guess yeah. I don't. What's it called in soccer? Is it still called playoffs, or is it called like? Does it have a second name?
Well, they don't. It depends. The MLS has playoffs, but like the most of the European leagues, like the season is the competition, and then there's like a separate cup competition that they play in. So it's a different.
Oh, like tournament styles.
Yeah, it's more like a tournament in like soccer, right?
Well, the League Cup, like the FA Cup or the Champions League is, yeah, but like the league is just the league. It's like if you're the first place in the league at the end of the year, you win the league, and that's it. there's no playoffs.
But then if you place at like the top 4 in EPL, then you go.
Then you are in the Champions League for next year. So I guess it's like, but they're not. It's not quite. It's kind of like that in that, like, yeah, you qualify for the Champions League, and I guess that's the playoffs. But then, like those, like quote unquote playoffs, like are played out through the next season, and then they play teams from other leagues. So it'd be like
how come they don't include MLS in that?
a number of reasons, a number of reasons.
How come they don't include Lowell High School?
Yeah, I was gonna say that. I was ready. Yeah, because they just give it to the Lowell High School girls team every year. Because like, what's the point of playing it out? Yeah. Speaking of my favorite, stadium experience, last year my boys soccer team went to the final. Whatever. Because afterwards, Lowell girls were playing Mission High School, and I got to watch that. Live. It was life affirming, life changing, right?
And the stadium was rocking, huh? Everyone.
Yeah, I thought you were gonna say you could ride the coattails.
One of the kids' families, like they went to Taqueria. They gave us Mexican food. It was great. I honestly don't want to share my stadium experience because your guys' is so much better.
Yeah.
Where did you go? Did you go in the local area, or were you like away?
Are you talking about Lowell girls still?
Right?
Wait, what?
It's just like, have you ever been to Boxer Stadium? It's just a big. It's a soccer field with it's like half of the wash stands, honestly.
Wow.
Oh, so small.
Yeah. I mean, not a lot of people come watch high school soccer. You'll be surprised to know.
What?
Maybe
It's not like Friday Night Lights where like the whole town's out there to watch like people play high school soccer.
So I literally just got a email from Max Preps, which is like what you have to enter your scores on, and it says, Dante, just like you, we are excited to see high school sports return and get fans back. In the stands to create the unbeatable home team advantage. And I'm like, this has not been my experience of coaching, like, at all. Like, I was like, who is this email fucking directed to? Like,
hey, 10, 20 people is solid, man.
If 20 people came to one of our games, I would be stoked, right? Include the parents. Like,
we could tell our 10 fans that,
if we got like,
hey, 10 fans out there, go check out
all the parents to come to our game. That would be pretty cool.
That would be an interesting poll to put up on our podcast. Like, who has more fans, this channel or Washington High School boys soccer team?
Oh my God!
Like, oh man, like let's throw that up there. I think it would be close.
Twitter poll. What would you rather do? Listen to this dross or like watch that dross? You know what I mean?
Well, if we could drag this out for 90 minutes, then you can compare these apples and oranges.
Mm-hmm.
Oh man. Yeah, I don't know. We talked about a lot of stuff. Is there anything else we need to talk about?
Bowden, what's your stadium experience?
Oh yeah.
I honestly don't have a lot of stadium experience. Like, I honestly didn't even get a chance to go to Oracle because it got really expensive when I like wanted to be able to go. I was in college, so I was so broke.
Oh yeah, ladies and gentlemen, Bowden's like 13. That's why he didn't know when the Warriors were bad. Being 13 years old and all. Look at this guy.
It's not because he's Asian and he's like looks really young. He's like literally 13.
He doesn't remember when the Warriors were.
I'm literally 13. What are you talking about?
This is a diverse channel.
His whole life.
All people, all ages. Let's go.
Oh my God. But yeah, I've been to Chase Center. I went to the game that Iggy came back to visit when now that he's on the Heat. And I went to Candlestick before it got torn down.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
You're that old? Like, that's amazing.
He's only 13. Didn't they turn that down 15 years ago?
Yeah, like quite honestly, I got really lucky going to Candlestick before it closed down, because the only time I had the opportunity to go was because I did this. It was Veterans Day, or they were celebrating Veterans Day, and when they do that, they always put T-shirts on seats and whatnot. And so I helped volunteer to put those shirts on those seats, and they gave us tickets, and they were like horrible tickets. There was like one section of Candlestick where wherever you sit, you can't see half the field.
Yeah.
There's
Like-
actually a lot of sections of Candlestick that are like
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, I mean, they gave us those sections, right? Obviously, because no one wanted to buy them,
Yeah.
and so. But it was
When you said you were lucky going to Candlestick, I was like, I'm not sure if I agree with that.
the fact that I could go for free, I was ecstatic, right? I think we were playing the New York Giants, and I don't remember. I don't think we won that game, but it was still during that time where we were pushing for playoffs. So yeah, it was cool, but it, like, again, I didn't even see half the game because I just couldn't see it. But
Or you only saw half the game.
right, exactly, right,
Last half filled there.
right, exactly.
The left half.
The left half of the game was great. Do you mean the first half? Like, no, the left half. There's only two halves. There's the first half, second half. Like, yeah, but I only saw this portion of it.
Oh, and I've been to the Giant Stadium, obviously, but I didn't get a chance to go during playoffs. I went during a regular season game against like the Arizona Diamondbacks. It was the game going to like get this pop, and then there's another time I went for a stats class, like when I was in AP Stats. But
Cool
again, not during
filter.
playoffs, so it wasn't really super hype or anything like. But it was a good experience. Like, I'd definitely go again.
Well, Rudy, you've been to the most like out of city places. Like, didn't you go to some like cool stadiums like for your experiences with sports?
Oh yeah. I've and that so it's funny. As much as I abhor baseball, like one of my generalized experience that I would say that I'd put up there is watching non-American baseball. Like, because baseball games are way fun. Like one example is out here when it was Oracle or AT&T Park, they had do you guys remember when they had it was like the World Cup of Baseball? Like, that was like, I think 2015 or 17, whatever year it was. So I went to two of those games because remember, they were giving away those tickets. I saw like the final, which was like, I think either Puerto Rico or Dominican Republic versus like Netherlands. And then the playoff game before that, which was PR and DR, right? But that was crazy because there's like drumming and percussion like in the stands, and there's like even led by the stadium itself. Like, there's that section where they usually have singers, I guess, where they'd have like a little band part, and then there's drumming and percussion nonstop. There were people blowing air horns while people were batting. That was amazing. They're like, burr, burr, burr. It's like whoa! It's like, this is so like, because American baseball is so docile and like, and here comes the pitch.
Yeah.
Oh, big swing and a miss, But these people are going bananas, and there's people chanting and like waving flags, and like no one's like, oh, this flag is obstructing my view. They might have been saying that, but no one gave a crap because the vibe was so dope. So that's one thing. And then I got the good fortune of watching a game in Japan, and same, like, there was chants for like every player, and the stadium wasn't even full. But they're like the active crowds were making so much noise. There are people doing coordinated, like choreographed dances, men and women. I remember because I took on my phone, I zoomed in, I saw this, there's throngs of people who had like the team's teddy bears or mascots. They're like doing like some kind of a dance, like, and they're all in sync with each other. It's like how the Japanese children do like the aerobics in the morning, right? And they're all doing the same thing. So that was bananas, but everyone had like their own chant. And there's also a game. Who's that hotshot guy? That the last one that came from Japan? I think he's on the Red Sox.
Oh, Otani or something like that.
Yeah, I saw him. So I got him because he's playing for the Ham Fighters, I think, or whatever Japanese team he was on. So I got to see Otani, and it was the year before he came over to America, and they're dubbing him like the Japanese Babe Ruth or something, like they did with Sadaharu.
He was pretty good. Like, he could hit and he could pitch. Like,
yeah, he wasn't pitching or playing the field, but they gave him 2 at bats, and so that was cool. But like. But yeah, everyone had like their own song and stuff, and it was so crazy, and all the fans knew it. So that was pretty cool. I was feeling that for sure. So
I think in America it's only like that when it's like
baseball games.
national, like Olympics or something like that, where the cheering gets crazy. Because I see more of that stuff like for national pride and stuff like that,
Right.
or like I see it worldwide with like soccer. Like
Mhm.
soccer fans are like known for having like a lot of country pride and things like that. And I feel like in America too, when it's like Olympics and other national things, other than like when I went to the Warriors and like it was crazy. I maybe like watching NBA basketball and you just watch it on ABC or something, and it's all like everyone's wearing like a blue shirt or everyone's wearing a white T-shirt. It was pretty crazy like that too. So I don't know if it's like that way for all playoffs, but I think it like playoff sports is like the closest you'll get to that. But yeah, the drumming, the chanting, like that's next level. That's
I just like when fans are chanting, like same when I've been to a few soccer matches too, like, and yeah, it's great, like all the chanting and stuff. And like I saw a game in Montreal, and they had a whole section for the traveling team, and I think that's a common experience for MLS games. Is like
They have that, yeah.
There's the other team section, and they fill in, and it was crazy. They're all chanting for the other team, and then the Montreal fans were also cheering for their own team. So it was like all this nonstop chanting. It was so fun.
Oh yeah, that reminds me. I went to a Portland Timbers game, MLS baby, and that was insane. But then I didn't know until later that Portland Timbers had like one of the best followings in the MLS, and people in Oregon are like fanatics for some of their sports and stuff like that.
In general, MLS games are fun to go to. Like honestly, my stadium experience was going to be that before firstly you guys showed me up, and secondly the Lowell girls soccer team joke became an opportunity. You know what I mean? But like the stadium in San Jose is really nice. They have a bar. Like it says a lot about the quality of the team. But they have a bar like along the whole goal side, so you can be in line for your drink to help with that atmosphere, and then but also be watching the game at the same time because you can just turn around and watch the game. You know what I mean? It's like literally going on behind you. So that's pretty cool.
Let's make a date. All of us go to an MLS game or something.
I am so down. Actually, I love going to Earthquakes games.
Yeah, I've been to that stadium once. It's really nice.
Yeah,
we need someone to drive.
We could coordinate something where we all go to an MLS game. Bowden, I don't know if you're old enough. Do they have age restrictions?
Oh my god.
No, it's very family friendly there.
Family friendly.
Friendly.
No, I thought MLS hated like the 14 and under set, right?
It's really about. It's actually they want you to bring. They want to bring kids in. To have to grow the fan base. So Bowden's perfect, right?
Oh my god. Take it in then, right?
He might tell his friends, right? And if you hook him at 7 or 8, right? By the time that they're 13, they're diehard.
Jesus.
Yeah. Is it gonna be like we're the only like minorities walking in and we're just like, oh crap? Is there a section for us?
There's a lot of minorities.
Oh, Bowden has his own age section, and then there's the minority.
You realize that like there's a lot of people around the world who play soccer, right? It's
okay.
Primarily,
they recruit from all over the world, huh? Because they have like special recruiting, like they can spend over the salary cap on like 1 or 2 players or something like that.
MLS.
Yeah, that's how they bring over like David Beckham.
I don't know how the salary cap works. I know that their strategy is like bringing in like former superstars. Like it's like half retirement league, half development league.
Ibrahimovic was super good because I remember he like came over and just was like, all right, I'm gonna do a bicycle kick for the win or something like that from hell far, and I'm just gonna win this game single-handedly.
Wasn't that his first game like in MLS?
It was like, yeah, I'm still good.
he said he was like, I'm a Ferrari in like a league of like Pintos or some shit. Like,
and this is like when they retire in America, it's like they're still the top of the league. Like when I went to that Montreal game, it was like it had Drogba in there. The architect fella, what's his name? The Italian guy. Giancarlo or Pirlo had Drogba, Pirlo, and David Villa. And then there's one other one, and I was thinking, wow, this is pretty much like the 2008 World Cup All-Star game, in 2015 in America. Like these guys are well past their European prime, but they're the tops. I think David Villa was like one of the top 2 scorers in the league at that moment in time.
Well, they either do really well or they flop. Like David Villa did do. It's like basically, honestly, it's like whether they care about it or not.
Yeah.
Like
It's a money grab.
Pirlo, when he came to MLS, like clearly fucking did not care at all and like didn't do very well. But David Villa seemed like he wanted to still play really well.
Is it like if you were a college basketball player and you go to the gym and you just start dunking on these like people that barely know how to play basketball and you're just like, why are you here? Like, why don't you go play at like
It's not quite like that. I mean, they're still professional players. They're just not good professional players. But like I don't know, man. It depends. It depends on the players. I think most of the time they end up being like, like locker room guys after a little bit, like Vince Carter style, like former greats. But now I'm like, helping people rise up. But yo, let's talk about the NBA playoffs. When are they? They're coming up, right?
I think that's a better topic. Yeah. Let's move on.
Let's wrap it up. Who do we want to see win the NBA playoffs?
Oh yeah. Speaking of which, let me give sort of like a timeline. So yes, the games do start up back on July 31st, and then the first round of the playoffs they start on. Hold on. I had the timeline here. Give me a second.
The finals end in September.
Yeah. So the play-in tournament, if there is a play-in tournament, or actually I think there is a guaranteed play-in tournament, but I think it's like the 8th or 9th seed. But the play-in tournament will be on August 16th to 17th. The first round of the playoffs starts the day after on August 18th. The first round starts on September 1st. Conference final starts on September 15th, and then the final starts on September 30th. That's sort of like the timeline.
Well, because they have to end because the next season is going to go December to August.
Yeah.
So if you're going December to August, they've always wanted to switch this because they don't want to compete with football. Like football takes away like half of their viewership. It's like,
and they're not scared to compete with baseball.
Just compete with baseball, Baseball's not even going to play probably in the next 2 years because of all the money issues. So they're just like, oh, we'll win over like half these baseball fans because like baseball, they're fighting over money and they're both going to lose out by striking and whatnot. The owners for them, it's like pennies to them. They're billionaires. And like for the players, they're millionaires. So I don't know, millionaires and billionaires fighting over money just is disgusting to me. It's disgusting. It's like,
Well, what's disgusting is that the public sentiment tends to side with the billionaires. That's the crazy part.
Yeah.
When fans have to choose, they're like, do you choose the team or the players? Like almost all the time they choose the team. So
right. Yeah, players are usually dismissed as like selfish or horrible, etc. It's like, but so in a essence, everyone, sides with the billionaires over the millionaires, which is sad, because like should be the other way around. People should be sympathetic with the work. They're the workers, right? But it's hard to be sympathetic to a millionaire, but isn't it harder to be sympathetic to a billionaire?
I'm generally anti-sports team owners. They're all bastards, really. But yeah. Wait, but who do we want to see win the playoffs? I can't believe they're going to be so late. That's crazy. Who do you guys want to see?
Who are you guys rooting for? Like, Warriors are out, so
yeah, the Warriors are out.
Warriors are pride, but Warriors are out. So let's all pick a team right now. Right now, pick an NBA team.
Can we split it up by conference? I think that'd be a little easier.
What's up?
Can we do it by conference? So maybe it's a little easier.
Okay. So yeah. So Bowden, why don't you start? Why don't you pick West Coast or Western and Eastern team that you want to see make it to the finals?
Finals, you said?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Personally, I want an LA team. So, and if I'm gonna have to choose one, I think. If I'm gonna be on, I mean, I personally think I honestly want the Clippers or Lakers to win, to make it to the finals, and I really want to see the Bucks make it to the finals, just because I'm a really big fan of Giannis. And I only say I want one of the teams in LA to win because I think it'll mean a lot to the team of LA, because of
this guy
because of all that. But that's mainly where I'm coming from. Don't get me wrong. I really I do like the Jazz, and I do like the Nuggets. I think they're really like up and coming teams. I really want them to do well, but I think it'll mean a lot more to the city of LA because of everything that's going on, or everything that went on this past year. But yeah, that's personally where I'm coming from.
I don't want to follow that up. You guys want? I just got selfish fan reasons.
Let's talk about that, Larry. What are your selfish fan reasons?
All right. Well, I definitely don't want the Rockets to win.
Yeah, absolutely not.
So like, mine's are more like a process of elimination, like, because I don't want these teams. Like, who do I choose by default? Like, I actually want to see the Pelicans make it to the finals. Like, I'm a huge Lonzo Ball fan.
Oh.
Like, I think he took a lot of hate unnecessarily from
I
like
agree.
dad's comments and stuff like that. But the dude, he can ball. Like,
yeah, he really
who
can.
comes into the league balling out? Like, no one. Not even LeBron was balling out in the league. Like, and then they expected that from Lonzo Ball. Like, no, that's not realistic. When rookies come into the league, they're putting up like 15 points and 6-7 rebounds and 3 assists, and you're the rookie of the year. And then he didn't do that, but I'm just saying, like, I like
it's kind of crazy though.
Pass first, and I think they're the most exciting team because they play up tempo. They got a lot of like high flyers. They got high energy, and I think they can honestly make a run. Like, talent wise, they can make a run. Brandon Ingram stepped up. Zion's a beast. Lonzo Ball is like possibly like a triple-double machine, like Ben Simmons, just with a better shot. Which isn't saying much because Ben Simmons can't shoot, but I'm just saying. All right. And then for the Eastern Conference, I know, Joe, you could go next. You can go next, man. I see you pumped. Okay. For the
next
conference, I want to see Joel Embiid and Ben Simmons because I think they were one shot away from possibly winning the NBA Finals. Because then they make it to the finals. Warriors have the same injuries. They're the NBA champs.
And if you really think about it, they were 4 bounces away. You really think about it.
So sad. I'm like, oh man. And honestly, they could have made another run this year, but they lost Redick and they traded Covington away, I think, or something like that. Like 2 of their big pieces. And I was like, oh, they're done, And that's why there's all this like trade talk about like them blowing up and beating Simmons and they can't win with those 2. I'm like, they were 1 shot away from winning the NBA Finals. You don't just blow your team up like that. Like, they're good. They're really good. So I want to see them make a deep run to a final. Is it realistic? No. And I think
a lot of people are calling the Pelicans Sixers final, but
hey,
you heard it
here on this podcast right now.
They will not have to restart the process.
Let's go.
We'll not see if to restart the process. I like that.
Right? Will Embiid change his name? Oh, restart the process.
He has a new chat. He's like, hey. All right, Joe. Who do you like?
All right. So yeah, that's not happening. New Orleans is not going to the freaking second round of the playoffs, let alone anywhere further. I mean, honestly, just being a Warriors fan, like, I really don't care who wins this year. But that said, like, I think the Lakers will probably take it from the West. I'm really excited to see like a series between them and the Clippers, but I just think they got a little bit. I mean, it's just LeBron. Like, I just give the edge to LeBron. And then in the East, I think it's Milwaukee's to lose, but man, like, I can't front. Like, I like what Boston has. I hate the Celtics. I hate the Lakers too. But would not be surprised. Like,
let's do this.
Yay. Would not be surprised if they figure out a way to beat Bucks. And then I think it's the Lakers title
against the Bucks. Okay.
Huh.
We go around the horn? Are we going this way? All right, Rudy.
We're not in the same place.
All our orders probably
you have to tell us who goes next, Larry. You're the host.
All right, so in my screen it goes Bowden, then me, then Joe, then Rudy, then you last, Dante. So all right, let's keep it going around the horn.
Okay. Well, a lot of my sports viewing comes from a place of hatred. So And it's like when the Patriots played Seattle, like I hated both teams. And the good news is one of those teams gets to lose. That's great. But then the sad part is one of them has to win, right? And I wanted neither of that to happen. So with that in mind, I'd hate to see any LA team or the Rockets win, but I would love to see them lose. So if one of those three teams makes it, there's still a 50 chance that I could see them lose. And hopefully the team on the East is the team that I don't hate. I generally don't hate too many teams on the East. So yeah, I'm not the biggest fan of Boston, but I would say they're the lesser of two evils. For me, like if it's Boston and Lakers, or Boston and Clippers, and I do like their young guys too, so that's pretty cool. But Milwaukee, who doesn't like Giannis? That guy, like I think I saw him take like 3 steps from half court, and he's at the basket. It's like that's kind of bananas. Who doesn't want more of that? So, insofar as viewing. And if I could control everything, I would make the Bucks win, and they would be smashing either the Clippers, the Lakers, or the Rockets, because I would love to see those guys lose yet again. So,
That's true.
Yeah.
All right, you're up, Dante. Who do you got?
Okay, so in the East, I'm gonna have to go with the Bucks, mainly because Giannis is awesome, but also because they have like cool uniforms. Their logo's pretty tight. I guess I have Milwaukee pride, but Milwaukee has kind of been like an embarrassing thing to be associated with on a social level for a little while now. Like, it really sucks. But so I'd like to see the Bucks get to the playoffs. That's good, or get to the finals. In the West, so like, I hate the LA teams because of the Warriors. I hate the Rockets.
Yeah.
You name it, fuck the Rockets, right? So but this year I'm taking a break from hating the LA teams because the Warriors are so bad. So like, it's hard because I like LeBron a lot. Like, LeBron is fucking awesome. I love watching LeBron play. Especially since that Michael Jordan documentary came out. I'd love to see him have like a, I don't know, response. But I also like the Clippers, like, not Paul George and Kawhi, but like their like core group that they had last year. Like, Lou Williams is fucking awesome, right? Yeah. Montrezl Harrell is really fucking cool. Pat Beverly's fucking dope. Like, I like those guys. Like, as soon as they got rid of Chris Paul and Blake Griffin, I was like, wow, the Clippers actually, I don't hate them as much as I used to.
Yeah.
I also remember this like interview after the Warriors beat them last year. I think it was Montrezl Harrell was like, they're like, how did you like, what were you not able to do to stop the Warriors? And they're like, I mean, fuck, man, like, we tried, So they're cool. I like them as like people, as like personalities. But I kind of want to see LeBron win one more championship so he can kind of have that like stake on greatness. Because LeBron is like I watched Jordan when I was like a little kid, but watching LeBron as like an adult who appreciates like the intricacies of the sport a little bit better, he's incredible, man. Like that game 1 against the Warriors that they ultimately lost. You guys remember that?
Best basketball game I've ever seen played.
He was unstoppable. He's like a basketball amoeba. He's like a single-celled organism that exists for the purpose of fucking playing basketball. He's incredible. And I'd like to see that guy win another title. And seeing as though the Warriors are out of it, like, let's go on, LeBron. Like, do it one more time so we can reclaim our dynasty,
Where's my thumbs down on that?
No, LeBron is amazing. Like, whenever I watch him, like, as a guy, like, competitively, you want to see him lose because you want your team to win.
Yeah,
but LeBron is amazing. Like, he's kind of like Kobe. I kind of hated Kobe all the time, but the dude you have to respect his game.
Respect, for sure.
Same thing with LeBron. You got to respect his game because he just goes to a team and makes them an NBA final contender,
Yeah.
Like,
I just like the way he brings in his teammates, though. Like, I just like I like LeBron's playing style.
Yeah.
More than Kobe, even more than Jordan. Jordan, I do think is probably like the better player, like long-term legacy. It's hard to argue with 6 titles, right? But like, I just love the way that LeBron brings in his teammates. It seems like he can do it all. You know what I mean?
Well, if he doesn't like you, he boots you to the curb and makes him sign dudes that he does like, which is a little bit shady, but I guess that's your
Great
privilege
player,
to be the best player.
not the greatest general manager. You know what I mean? Like,
he is a general manager, so you gotta know that you're
sure I agree with all his
a general
decisions
manager
about
for your
general
team
management.
when you take him on into your team. Like he almost single-handedly destroyed Miami Heat with their salary cap issues, et cetera, et cetera. I can't believe they bounced back so quickly after. Well, I guess it's been like 6, 7 years, but they're actually really good right now. And like, all right, if we're talking about who I think can really make it to the finals versus who I want to make it to the finals, I could see it being Lakers and the Heat, and I wouldn't be surprised by that. Like if it was Lakers and Heat, I'd be like, yeah, the Heat are really good. Like they have a lot of the pieces to make it happen.
Yeah.
So whether it's gonna happen or not, like I think the Heat have to go through Giannis, and Giannis is on a mission to single-handedly win a title. But then he's gonna run into LeBron, and he's just gonna lose. So that's how I feel like it's gonna play out. So, but I do like the Heat to do something, like at least make it close. So
I'm very impressed by the Heat because I think like part of their core are actually like rookies. What, like Duncan Robinson and Tyler Hero? Like they're actually doing really well as rookies.
Are you picking the 2 white guys that like barely make an impact? How about Jimmy Butler and Bam Adebayo and like all the good players, all the dudes like?
Wait,
you're right. Those role players.
They are really good role players. What are you talking about?
Hey, they are minority gamers. They're the
minority gamers. They were good. And
minority
we talk so
gaming.
much soccer, dude. Minority games here.
I would encourage that actually.
Minority gaming. We're talking about soccer for like half of this freaking podcast. I'm like, I don't even watch that much soccer, and like, but yeah.
I mean, like, how can the Lowell girls team not just dominate any conversation about sports, right? Like,
fanboy right here.
Yeah,
right.
Right.
Man. This is so sad. But yeah. they got lucky, like kind of like Warriors had who's that? Joe Ingles. Warriors had Joe Ingles and we just cut him. And then now he's like role player extraordinary. Oh well, he's a starter, but he's really good. I was like, and then we had the guy on the Heat, so that they're
Kendrick Nunn.
Your contender.
Kendrick Nunn, yeah.
I saw him play at in Santa Cruz for the G League. What's his name?
Kendrick Nunn.
Kendrick Nunn? Yeah, I was like, this guy is amazing. Why is he coming off the bench? Because I think the Warriors told the coach, like, bury this guy because we don't have the cap space to bring him up. And they couldn't bury him. Like, Aaron Miles, like, he was forced to play him during the playoffs, and the guy just killed it. He, like, absolutely destroyed in the playoffs. And then Miami Heat signed him because we couldn't offer him enough money.
Yeah.
So, yeah, and then he becomes, like, Rookie of the Year potential. Like, they're not talking about him, but he's really, really good. Like, defensively, he's a two-way player, guard, and he's really good. And he gets, like, I don't know, 20, 25 minutes in Miami Heat starting rotation, and he's good. Like, who do they have? They got Dragic. Do they still have Dragic?
Yeah, they still have him.
They got Dragic, Bam Adebayo. They have
Butler.
Jimmy
and
Butler.
They just got Iggy.
They have who?
Iggy.
Who?
Iguodala.
Oh, yeah, they have Iggy. They have Duncan Robinson, like you were saying.
Yeah. Tyler Hero.
Really deep. They remind me of the 2015 Warriors, where you just, like, they have a lot of really good players, but no, like, transcendent stars. Like, Jimmy Butler's he's an all-star, but I don't know if he's a superstar. You can't just, like, give him the ball and, like, let him make incredible things happen. They don't really have a single guy on their team that can do that.
Mm-hmm.
But, if you have a lot of really good to great players, like no transcendent stars, I think that's probably a formula for winning.
It's a good recipe.
Yeah.
Yeah. So they remind me a lot of 2015 Warriors. Yeah. So if they go really far, it'll be like that dark horse style, kind of like the Warriors did.
For sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm looking forward to the NBA playoffs.
I am too. I thought it was happening sooner. I did not know it was not going to start till like pretty much August.
I know. I wish it was starting at the end of this month, but they said they needed like at least a month of like preparing because their bodies are like not trained to play
Yeah, that's fair.
back to back. I think there's going to be a ton of injuries, like because they're playing so many back to back games.
Yeah.
Like especially when the playoffs start.
Right.
And you're going to see a lot of like the older dudes that are like 29 and up just go down with injuries. Boom, 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 boom.
I think
boom.
LeBron James will get hurt.
I don't know. He's a beast. He'll just put on like one of those back stickers where you just like alleviate pain, and he's just gonna just run through people, continue to run through people.
He'll be fine.
Yeah, he's a completely different like.
He's not in the older guy category. He's in the transcendent category.
Yeah, he's a transcendent player. So yeah, I don't know. I'm really looking forward to like see how many people, not to see how many people go down, just to see if my prediction comes true, but hopefully not, because you don't wish harm on anyone, and hopefully they can power through. But on my YouTube feed, it came like the physicality of the 2018 playoffs came up, and dudes were just clotheslining people. Go YouTube like 2018 physical plays or something like that.
Wow.
And dudes are just like shoving each other out of bounds, throwing each other on the ground, technicals flying left and right. And I think 2018 was like, yeah, just a real physical playoff time.
Was that the year Draymond Green kicked LeBron in the nuts?
No, that was
2017. So you hear it here first. It's going to be a Heat Cardinals NBA final.
No.
Oh man!
You know, like LeBron, he's great, but can he come up against the forces of the little soccer team transitioning into the NBA?
Dude, can we keep our 10 subscribers, man? You're really trying to make them go away.
We're really building up our base amongst.
Hey, you gotta email out the Lowell Alum Association. We're giving you mad drops out here, you know, as an alum. You know.
Oh man, you know what? I'm gonna lose a lot of Washington fans. I was just making an example. Like when you win 50 years in a row, you win 50 years in a row. You got history on your side. Like when I started coaching, what's up, Mom? But when I started coaching, hey, that's a 13-year-old kid's life right there. You got balls in the back, dude. No, but when I coached basketball, like I looked at the plaque. There's a plaque, and they had like 3 rows where you have the school's name of who won. And like, I swear, there was like 12 of them. 12 years back, it was all like JV Lowell's basketball, and then I was like, and then there was like one Washington High School one on it that they added on. And I was like, Jesus. And then after that, after we beat them and like broke the mystique, then they just couldn't win again at the JV level. And I was happy about that. I was like, dude, some of it is just like the expectation you can't beat certain people. But you know what? Once you get it done, like then kids aren't afraid and they don't believe in that stuff anymore. So you just gotta break the cycle. It's up to you, Papaliski. If you ain't getting it done, you gotta break the cycle, man. Make it happen.
Break the cycle of the girl, because they come into our league, our boys league, could dominate too. You know what I mean? So you need their boys to be
your boys
like
on the little girls soccer team, and you need to beat them down.
We're working on it, Larry. We're working on it.
Saying.
I was gonna say
like,
let's just lose, but now that you've inspired me, you know, I'm gonna fucking make it happen.
Well, your team might lose a few times, but don't give up, man. They're a powerhouse.
Thanks,
They're
Larry.
an absolute
Yeah, that's
powerhouse.
true. That's true. It's all about building for the next year, right? We're the Rockets trying to build to beat the Warriors, right? We're trying to just to be one team.
Yeah, exactly.
But hopefully not we're not the Rockets, because you know, fuck the Rockets. All right. Yo, I think this has been 90 minutes.
Yeah, I think that's good. Like we
had
got
sports conversation.
Yeah, like I was thinking, like I'm sure you guys have things to do, but thank you for coming on. This be interesting. Like, watch this episode. It'll probably come out next week. But yeah, thanks for coming on, and this was kind of fun. So maybe we could do something like this again.
Yeah.
We'll set up
Thanks for
that
having me.
MLS game. You know,
Yeah.
the invites will go out. Like
I'm 100% down.
I'm here
If,
for
if and
I
when
am
that
too.
ever
I'm not
comes
just
back.
saying this because we're on right now. I'm like literally, I want to go. So
I like that
me
you're
too.
like, this is kind of fun. That's a great selling point. Come back for more because it was like kind of fun after all.
Mhm.
This one was fun. Thank you guys.
Yeah. Thanks
yeah,
for having us.
you guys.
Bye.
The whole like and subscribe for us, like, hey.
Oh yeah. Like and subscribe. Hit the button below. But there won't be one. But you know, you have to literally go like way down, and then we're gonna figure out how to get it like a button like right here on the screen, like somewhere, and then. But I don't know how to do that, so we'll figure it out. When I say we, I always mean Rudy. So you gotta know that out there. We meaning Rudy. So yeah. All right, guys. We'll do it again.
Yeah, thanks for coming on, fellas. Appreciate it.
Thanks for having us.
Bye.
Later, guys.
Asking the good questions, like taking over host duties, because we clearly did our homework.